Let's talk about SAP. To receive financial aid, you do have to maintain satisfactory academic progress. If you do not, you will be granted one term of warning during which you can still receive aid, but you're expected to bring your progress back up. If you're unable to do so, then your future aid would be canceled. So what are the requirements of making satisfactory progress? You need to maintain a 2.0 cumulative GPA. You need to complete 67% of the credit hours you attempt. And you must finish your program within 150% of the length of your program. If you don't meet these requirements, you do have the right to file an appeal. Be sure to log into self-service and double check the reasons why you are not making satisfactory progress. This is important because your appeal needs to address the right things or it'll be denied. Students can appeal when something has happened that caused them to not make satisfactory progress. This can be for a wide variety of reasons, things like medical problems, illness in the family, or maybe even a death. If these occur, you can file an appeal, and in there you need to explain why you didn't make satisfactory progress, and now what has changed so that you be successful in the future. Keep in mind that if you've experienced an issue that hasn't been resolved yet, your appeal will not be approved. If you're filing an appeal because you did not meet the requirements for the GPA or your completion rate, or both, there are 3 things you need to turn in. One is an signed appeal form, and there will be a link to this at the end of the video. A signed and dated letter from you explaining in writing what occurred. And then documentation that supports your written letter. If you're submitting your appeal because you've exceeded the maximum time frame, you need 4 things. The signed and dated appeal form, your letter of explanation about why you need an extension to complete your degree, documentation that supports that request, and a letter from your faculty coach estimating your graduation date. Documentation is very important to a successful appeal. In this example, the student had to withdraw from all their coursework because they were in a car accident. So good documentation for their appeal would be a copy of their medical bills or maybe a copy of the accident report. In the case of a student who's submitting an appeal because they've exceeded the maximum time frame, and this happened because the student switched from going towards a 4-year degree to one of our 2-year technical programs, good documentation for that might be proof about how well this new degree will pay and why you need to be job ready as quickly as possible. Keep in mind that you really do need to have a good reason to appeal. Reasons like, I was immature at the time, or I just didn't do well in class, those will not be approved. Be sure that your appeal is well written, that it's legible, and it should have a lot of detail in it so that the committee can make a good decision. Be sure to not forget to add that part about how you plan to do better in the future. Here's a couple of examples. A bad example of an appeal is one that only says, I lost my transportation and I'll try to get someone to give me a ride in the future. A good explanation in an appeal would be where the student has lost their transportation and that they explain that it happened because the brakes went out on their car and they didn't have the money to repair it, so they had to withdraw from classes. They saved their money up, got the brakes repaired, and then they attach a copy of that repair bill to their appeal. And then they explain that in the future, they will do better because they will lay aside some funds for car repairs so that they don't let it affect their college career. Be sure to turn in everything at one time to the financial aid office. Incomplete appeals will hold up your request because it will not go to the committee without all the documentation. Once the committee reviews your appeal, you will be notified by email about the results of that appeal, so keep an eye on your email account. This committee does meet once a month, so check with the financial aid office to determine the deadline for this month's meeting. Now, if you are approved on an appeal, you do get your aid reinstated for the next semester, but it does come with some conditions. You would need to complete the semester with a 2.0 GPA and to complete 75% of the credit hours you attempt.